Hi, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you to this episode of All Things Lean with your host, Madhulika Rajahan. In our last episode, we talked about core cultures and value framing. Know your users. In this episode, we will talk about what is design thinking and why is it so popular. Design thinking is not an exclusive property of designers. All great innovators in literature, art, music, science, engineering, and business have practiced it. So, why call it design thinking? What's special about design thinking is that designers' work processes can help us systematically extract, teach, learn, and apply these human centered techniques to solve problems in a creative and innovative way in our designs, in our businesses, in our countries, and in our lives. Some of the world's leading brands, such as Apple, Google, and Samsung, rapidly adopted the design thinking approach, and leading universities around the world teach the related methodology, including Stanford, Harvard, Imperial College of London, and the Srishti Institute in India. Before you incorporate design thinking into your own workflows, you need to know what it is and why it's so popular. Here, we'll cut to the chase and tell you what design thinking is all about and why it is so in demand. What is design thinking? Design thinking is an iterative process in which you seek to understand your users, challenge assumptions, redefine problems, and create innovative solutions which you can prototype and test. The overall goal is to identify alternative strategies and solutions that are not instantly apparent with your initial level of understanding. Design thinking is more than just a process. It opens up an entirely new way to think, and it offers a collection of hands on methods to help you apply this new mindset. In essence, design thinking revolves around a deep interest to understand the people for whom we design products and services, helps us observe and develop empathy with the target users, enhances our ability to question. In design thinking, you question the problem, the assumptions, and the implications. Proves extremely useful when you tackle problems that are ill-defined or are unknown. It involves ongoing experimentation through sketches, prototypes, testing, and trials of new concepts and ideas. What are the 5 phases of design thinking? Design thinking is an iterative and non-linear process that contains 5 phases. First, empathize. Second, define. Third, ideate. Then prototype. And fifth, test. You can carry these stages out in parallel, repeat them, and circle back to a previous stage at any point in the process. The core purpose of the process is to allow you to work in a dynamic way to develop and launch innovative ideas. Design thinking makes you think outside the box. Design thinking can help people do out of the box or outside the box thinking. People who use this methodology attempt to develop new ways of thinking, ways that do not abide by the dominant or more common problem solving methods, have the intention to improve products, services, and processes. They seek to analyze and understand how users interact with products to investigate the conditions in which they operate, ask significant questions, and challenge the assumptions. One element of outside the box or out of the box thinking is to falsify previous assumptions. That is, make it possible to prove whether they are valid or not. As you can see, design thinking offers us a means to think outside the box and also dig that bit deeper into problem solving. It helps us carry out the right kind of research, create prototypes, and test our products and services to uncover new ways to meet our users' needs. Design thinking is for everybody. How many people are involved in design process when your organization decides to create a new product or service? Teams that build products are often composed of people from a variety of different departments. For this reason, it can be difficult to develop, categorize, and organize ideas and solutions for the problems you try to solve. One way you can keep a project on track and organize the core ideas is to use a design thinking approach. And everyone can get involved in that. Tim Brown, the CEO of the celebrated innovation and design firm IDEO, emphasizes this in his successful book, Change by Design, when he says design thinking techniques and strategies belong at every level of a business. In his book, Change by Design, Tim Brown says design thinking begins with skills designers have learned over many decades in their quest to match human needs with available technical resources within the practical constraints of businesses. By integrating what is desirable from a human point of view with what is technologically feasible and economically viable, designers have been able to create the products we enjoy today. Design thinking takes the next step, which is to put these tools into the hands of people who may have never thought of themselves as designers and apply them to a vastly greater range of problems. Tim Brown also shows how design thinking is not just for everybody, it's about everybody too. The process is firmly based on how you can generate a holistic and empathetic understanding of the problems people face. Design thinking involves ambiguous and inherently subjective concepts such as emotions, needs, motivations, and drivers of behavior. In a solely scientific approach, for example, analyzing data, people are reduced to representative numbers, devoid of emotions. Design thinking, on the other hand, considers both quantitative as well as qualitative dimensions to gain a more complete understanding of user needs. For example, you might observe people performing a task such as shopping for groceries, and you might talk to a few shoppers who feel frustrated with the checkout process at the store, which is a qualitative data. You can also ask them how many times a week they go shopping or feel a certain way at the checkout counter, which is a quantitative data. You can then combine these data points to paint a holistic picture of user pain points, needs, and problems. In his book, Change by Design, Tim Brown says design thinking taps into capacities we all have, but that are overlooked by more conventional problem solving practices. It's not only human centered, it is deeply human and in of itself. Design thinking relies on our ability to be intuitive, to recognize patterns, to construct ideas that have emotional meaning as well as functionality, to express ourselves in media other than words or symbols. Nobody wants to run a business based on feelings, intuition, and inspiration, but an over reliance on a rational and an analytical mind can just be as dangerous. The integrated approach at the core of the design process suggests a third way. Tim Brown sums up that design thinking provides a third way to look at problems. It's essentially a problem solving approach that has crystallized in this field of design to combine a holistic, user-centered perspective with rational and analytical research, all with the goal to create innovative solutions. The takeaway. Design thinking is an iterative and non-linear process. This simply means that the design team continuously uses their results to review, question, and improve their initial assumptions, understandings, and results. Results from the final stage of the initial work process inform our understanding of the problem, help us determine the parameters of the problem, enable us to redefine the problem, and perhaps more importantly, provide us with new insights so we can see any alternative solutions that might not have been available with our previous level of understanding. With this, we come to an end to this episode of All Things Lean. We will continue to talk about design thinking in more details in our upcoming sessions. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment in the comment section on what you'd like to hear more. Until next time, this is your host, Madhulika Rajahan, signing off. Have a wonderful day ahead.